Hello, my name is Jacqueline and I am a first aid trainer for National First Aid courses. Why would you do a first aid course? Well, for many of you, you're doing a first aid course because your workplace has required you to do one. But we would like to also see people come along. We have grandmothers, new grandmothers come along who are quite nervous about babysitting that would like to learn first aid. We have new mothers come along. And we also have people who simply say, I was confronted with a first aid emergency. I had no idea what to do. I never want to feel that way again, so I'm here to learn first aid. What do we learn in a first aid course? Well, here we have the 4 B's of first aid, and our curriculum will cover the whole 4 B's. The first thing being breathing problems, from unconscious and not breathing, which is a CPR response. So we do CPR in the morning on both adult and infant, and we also look at CPR on a child. We also cover other breathing problems. They might be conscious and having trouble breathing. Do not throw them on the ground and do CPR. We have different response for that. It could be anaphylaxis, which we look at. It could be asthma, which we look at. It could be choking, which we look at. So we'll cover all breathing problems that a person might have. We cover bleeding. Bleeding can be anything from a very minor skin wound, which can actually become a very major skin wound. People have landed themselves in long hospital stays from a minor skin wound if it's not treated properly. Come along and find out why. But we cover all bleeding wounds, right up to amputations or tourniquets. Bones and breaks, we'll cover bones and breaks, how to respond to anything from small fractures right up to major breaks, and also dislocations, which you're actually not allowed to do anything with a dislocation, but we'll let you know how to support that person until an ambo arrives and takes them to hospital. And we also cover burns, all sorts of burns, from minor burns right up to major burns to chemical burns. It's quite interesting to find out the different responses. The responses to a 2nd degree burn are quite different to the responses to a 3rd degree burn. So it's worth coming along to find out why. We cover envenomation, from snake bites to tick bites, all sorts of blue bottle stings. We cover all sorts of envenomation. We also cover shock. Shock is something people aren't aware of, but a person, when they have a first aid emergency, that emergency can be radically escalated if the person goes into shock. What is shock? It's worth coming along to find out. How does it affect their well-being, and what should we do if a person goes into shock? Interestingly, we really can't stop shock from happening, but we can certainly stop it from escalating. So we look at all the things we do to make sure a person's shock doesn't escalate, because shock is something that can actually be quite fatal. So we look at those. National First Aid courses, what I like about National First Aid courses is our focus on long-term memory. In National First Aid courses, we really look at what's best for long-term memory. We really want you to remember what you've learnt when you come in for the day. It's really overwhelming. I know I've left classes and just felt overwhelmed, like, how on earth am I meant to remember all of that? So that's become our focus. How can we help people remember? What can we do? How do we do things so they remember? This is why we avoid the online course the night before. I find answering multiple choice questions gives you false narratives in your head, and you may take 2 or 3 goes to actually get the right answer before you're allowed to go on to the next screen. Now, in a medical emergency, which answer is going to be prevalent in your brain? The red herrings or the true answer? So this is why we avoid that. We do all of our work in the class. You have no night before computer work to do. We work in workbooks. You are fully supported. If you're struggling with anything, we'll work with you. Even in breaks, we'll work with you after class. But it's very rare that people ever struggle in our classes, because we really do try to make everything accessible. Our workbooks are very accessible. When I say accessible, I mean that every learning level can actually easily cover this work. It's really written and designed to cover every learning level. And fully supported to make sure that when you walk out the door, not only have you just passed, but we want you walking out the door feeling confident that you're going to be a effective first aider, not just in your workplace, but also at home or in your friendship circles and places like that. So we would love to see you. My name's Jacqueline, and we would love to see you in National First Aid courses.